Hi everyone.
Hello.
We are both Emily
Gay.
Beck.
The Quarantine Chronicles.
Part 2. Dun dun dun. Also that.
My name is Emily Beck, and
My name is Emily Beck.
we're married.
The original.
And we're married, and we have a 17-month-old daughter whose name is Olive Beck.
Not Emily.
Correct. And she's sleeping right now. So we thought it would be a good opportunity to make a video and explain how we got pregnant and had a daughter, because we get a lot of questions on Instagram all the time. So we thought we'd tell you. Started off probably even before we were married, we knew that we wanted to have babies. So the first step was kind of to figure out who was going to carry the baby. And that was easy because she did not want to and I did. So that decision was pretty much made for us, so we didn't really have to do much there. The next decision was we had to figure out how we were going to go about doing this, because there's a lot of different ways when you have two wombs. IVF, reciprocal IVF, IUI, medicated IUI, adoption, yeah. So we had to decide what was going to be the best way for us. So we talked about it a lot. We did a lot of research, and basically what it boiled down to for us was that no matter which way we did it, the baby was only going to be related to one of us, like genetically. And I don't think either one of us really cared like who that was. One of us didn't feel like a strong pull to like be biologically connected to the baby. So the easiest and cheapest way then would be to just do IUI, using my egg and a sperm donor. There's a lot of different ways you can go about finding a sperm donor. You can do a known donor, somebody that you know. You can go through a sperm bank, and there's different ways to go through a sperm bank. You can do an anonymous donor where you never know who it is, it's completely anonymous, or you can do a known donor through the sperm bank, which means that you get their information when the child turns 18 if they want it, which is ultimately the option that we chose, because we just kind of felt like it shouldn't be up to us if she wants to know him or not. That's kind of her decision to make. So when she turns 18, she'll get all of his info, and if she wants to contact him, she can. If she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to. We just thought we would give the option.
Yep.
Because I know if it were me, I'd kind of want to know, probably.
And it was also important for us to go with a bank that was well known, reputable in terms of reliability, and had different options for genetic testing, just based on medical history on her side of the family especially.
I had been genetically tested for a different reason right before we started trying, and it was found out that I do have some genetic mutations. Ignore our dog barking. I do have some genetic mutations that could cause cancer and other kind of things, so we wanted to make sure that we chose a sperm bank and a donor that had been genetically tested, and we could make sure that we wouldn't be giving like double mutations to the baby.
Because this is a well thought out, I feel like, at least for us and most people in our situation, this is a well thought out and financially responsible decision, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, not financially responsible, but obviously like finances play a lot into that too. And we're not, if we can avoid, having certain issues pop up, that would be great. Obviously, like, we didn't want to sit there and just have like a biologically, genetically made baby, like, and I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like,
we
in
did
like
want a genetically made baby.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, like now that everybody is saying that you can like pick out eye color.
Right. I mean,
like,
on the one hand, it did kind of feel like that, because like we got to go through websites of donors, and it said like, eye color, hair color, skin tone, Like, so you are essentially like, like I picked this color and this color, but I mean, in our case, it didn't really matter because we chose a sperm donor that looked like Emily, dark brown hair, hazel eyes,
Tattoos included.
no, and our daughter came out looking like a clone of me, even though I have all the recessive traits. So you know, with genetics, you just never really know what you're gonna get. But we did try
We did.
to get one that would look like her. But you
Her
know,
genes are just too strong.
yeah, and I think like genetics play a very small role in who she is anyway, and I feel like she has a lot of personality traits of you. So
Already.
yeah, we did go through a couple different sperm banks before we really found one that jived with us, and like our doctor recommended some, so we like had a starting point, but for us it didn't work for like a full year, and we didn't know why, but pretty much as soon as we switched donors
And banks.
well yeah, like we switched sperm banks and got a different donor, and I think it was the first time that we did an IUI with him. It worked the first time then, so
Magic.
I guess he's got some good sperm.
The amount of times that you have said the word sperm in this video.
That's what it is.
Never thought I'd hear her say that word so many times. But here we are.
So another super important part of the baby making process for two ladies is to find a doctor, and we have an amazing doctor that I've known my whole life, and you know, it's my mom. Literally, he made me. So he's pretty great, and everybody at his office was amazing. I would just say it's so important to find a doctor that is supportive and doesn't make you feel weird and uncomfortable, because like with our fertility doctor we didn't have that, but we did come across that like other times.
In all aspects, in terms of doctors, I recommend having somebody that's completely, I shouldn't say like completely, but obviously like somebody that's accepting of your lifestyle, because this is an important part of who we are as people. And
Well, I just like to ask like straight from the start, like, hi, we're gay, is that okay with you? So then it's like you get a feel for it right away, you know, like nobody's trying to fool anybody here, you know.
And the doctor's office that we chose and went with and used, they're like our family now, you know, like from the people in the reception area to the people that are taking her blood, that were taking her blood.
Because you get your blood taken a lot, like
every
twice
other
a
day.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, and the people that are actually doing whether it's you're involved in IVF and you're doing transfers, or you're involved in the IUI and they're the ones that are actually using the equipment. Like we got, okay, that sounded bad, okay, whatever. But like we got so close with them, and like, you know, when somebody is playing such an integral part of your life, you know, it was nice for that person, the nurses, anybody to be like, hey, how are you guys doing? Like, nice to see you again, and yeah, hope this works. Like, you got your own personal cheerleaders for such a hard journey. You know? And so that was important.
We do love them. We just recently brought Olive back to see them, and they loved it. They loved it. I mean,
couldn't get enough.
Yeah, no, they were super pumped. They're like, oh my god, we saw the Christmas card. It's just so beautiful.
I think we probably spent at least like an extra half hour just talking to everybody there.
Yeah. So we found a doctor. He recommended a bunch of sperm banks. We went through all of the profiles. You can do like voice interviews you listen to, you see childhood photos, all this stuff. We found one that is perfect. I'm so glad that we found him. He's like, I feel super attached to him, and like so much love for him and all of Olive's donor siblings. I have so much love for them as well. So yeah, we got to that point, and then we started trying, which we did medicated IUI, which is intrauterine insemination, basically meaning somebody they stick like a, what is it, like mean, it's not like a turkey baster, it's like the turkey baster method, but it's like, I don't know the medical terminology for it. It's like a thing, and then they stick the sperm through.
Basically a syringe.
Yeah.
I mean, not with like a
needle
syringe,
but it goes
but a plastic
into your
syringe.
uterus, and then they send the sperm up there, and hopefully they find an egg. So then basically I used ovulation tests, like leading up from my period on, to kind of like, you know, to predict your ovulation, which I took Clomid, and I took that for like high five. I took that for like 4 or 5 days, and let me tell you, that drug sucks. I mean, I love it because it made me ovulate, but damn, the side effects of that, they're terrible. So I took that, and then when I got a positive ovulation test, I did a trigger shot, which is basically a shot of pregnancy hormone. It wasn't in my leg, it was in my butt. She did it, and it hurt.
I did it a couple times, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had to do it a bunch of times because it didn't work for a while, so we were just doing this over and over again. And then
let me tell you, that was an experience. She loves needles so much.
No, I don't. And then halfway through the cycle, like I think, or halfway through the 2-week wait, I got another shot of HCG. And then I was on progesterone from the time that we did the IUI, right? Or was it like a week later I start progesterone?
Like a week later.
Yeah, and then you stay on that until you get your pregnancy test. And if you're not pregnant, then obviously you stop it. If you are, you continue on it. So yeah, it was a lot of medication, a lot of like being stabbed, because on top of the trigger shots, I was getting blood tests like every other week because they were or every other day, because they were trying to like measure my hormones and make sure I didn't ovulate before we were ready.
Making sure all the levels are good.
Yeah, which let me tell you, getting your blood taken like that all the time really sucks, but I love the blood lady there, so
Yeah.
I love you. What's her name? I don't know.
The way it was timed out, we basically had our appointment for I don't even want to call it like an injection, but like the IUI.
Yeah.
We had our appointment day set for that, so went to the doctor, had that done. That night, we had some awesome friends over who were very supportive, and we went and got a pineapple.
Yeah, they say pineapple core is good to eat. I've heard like conflicting reports on this, but we tried it because we hadn't tried it before.
The old wives' tales of everything.
Yeah, I ate like 17 pineapples, and it worked. We found out we were actually going on vacation this cycle, so we had to wait until we came home, which was like terrible because instead of being 14 days, we had to wait 16 days.
Yeah.
Except for I was already taking pregnancy tests, so like we knew, but we didn't actually like officially know.
I knew because there were things that were happening that normally don't happen to this one.
Like what?
She got into a car crash. She
I did
tripped over the rug and like fell over completely, and things happen. Like clumsy
I
things
mean, like I
happen,
was
but, like,
clumsy, but I'm kind of always clumsy.
yeah, but I mean not clumsy enough to get into a car crash. I don't know.
Well,
Okay. Well, anyways,
mistake.
but just like weird stuff and like.
yeah, I mean, I felt like different. I could tell too. So I took a test, and
I think that fall really helped.
yeah, when I took the test, actually, I didn't even want to take a test because this was like our last try with IUI, and the doctor pretty much was like, if this doesn't work, you're gonna do IVF. And we had like our whole consultation set up. We already had the consultation, and then we were just like waiting for my period to start so I could start the IVF meds.
We were basically convinced that the IUI was not going to work.
Yeah, like we were like, okay, we're just gonna do this one more
just
time,
based
I
on all the
guess.
stuff that we had tried before, all
Yeah.
the different methods, all the different old wives' tales and everything.
And it turns out it was extreme positive when I wasn't even done peeing on the stick, and it was already positive, and I was like, whoa.
And I was at work.
Yeah.
So
So I called her and was like, don't be mad, but I took a pregnancy test, and it's really, really positive.
and who can be mad at that? I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a great phone call to get it worked.
So I took the test the night before we went on vacation. So then I continued taking a test every single day that we were on vacation. So then by the time
Do
we
you
came
remember
home,
trying to find new tests when we were down
yeah,
there?
that was terrible. We went to Tennessee, like to the most conservative town ever, and we're two lesbians being like, "Hey, can we get a pregnancy test out of your locked cases of pregnancy tests because they're locked in cases there apparently?"
The tiny convenience store down the road.
And the person's like, and she had her period at the time, so we bought pregnancy tests and tampons.
Very confusing.
That person was confused. Then we found out when we came home, my numbers were super, super high. Like, insanely high. Like, they were like, there's probably 17 babies in there. There was.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, just one.
That's basically the gist of it. It seems so simple when you just like say it, but it's really a long process. Each one of those steps takes like months.
I can't decide if this video is like long in terms of like videos. I don't think it is, but like saying it all out like that just makes it sound so much more simpler than it was, and
Yeah,
so
it's
much
not that simple.
of a short process compared to how god awful long it felt like in the process.
Yeah.
A lot of waiting, a lot of being patient, and a lot of emotions, and a lot of
Yeah,
a
it's
lot
hard.
of waiting.
It's really hard to be in that. So I feel for all of you who are going through it currently because it's not easy.
No, especially at a time like this.
Yeah, but it is so worth it.
Yeah.
I'd do it again. We want to do it again, actually. We're just waiting on the okay from our doctor once it's safe, once this global pandemic calms down a little bit, maybe.
The craziness.
Yeah. But it's definitely on the horizon. Olive needs a sibling.
I mean, look at her. She's just so cute. How could you not want to make another one?
So,
Or 5 more.
12 more.
20? Messed up my hair. What else?
I think that's all. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
I want there to be a baby in my
If you have any questions, feel free to ask us.
Yep.
It's super important for us to get this info out there because that's how we figured out what we were going to do. From people who were putting their stuff on YouTube and showing all of it. We're super thankful. Now our other dog is barking, so cool.
Need to go pay attention to our other children, I suppose.
Cool.
I don't know. Listen, this process is hard, regardless of how it happens, how quick or how long it takes. So, like she said, please reach out. You know, even obviously, like even if it's not to ask questions to us, like somebody else that you feel comfortable with, or somebody else you know. I can't tell you how many people reached out to me just randomly, like people I hadn't spoken to in a very long time, to just say, hey, you know, like how did you do this, what's the deal, and I don't know if I helped, but if I did, awesome. You know, if I didn't, oh well.
We reached out to a lot of people too when we
Yeah.
were going through it, and we made some awesome friends that really helped us. And
Yeah.
still, I mean, we're still close with those people, so it's nice. It's like, it's important to have a community when you're going through stuff like this, so.
It's your own kind of second chosen family. What does RuPaul say? Is that what he says?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What?
Is this
Stop
the
it.
end?